Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel and welcome to all of the new people that have decided to come across and subscribe to this channel or even just support by watching my videos. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to you all. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what was discussed in my previous video, but also catching up on the latest news on regards to, and I just feel that these videos are just always about Harry and Meghan. Believe you me, I will be doing other things, but they are just constantly in the news at the moment. And of course, the latest thing, two things with the fact that the lady who was discussed in Harry's book, because he doesn't mind, violating everyone else's privacy, has spoken out about losing Harry's virginity. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm also going to talk a bit about the kind of bit not being invited to Oprah's party and the whole Ellen DeGeneres thing. And yeah, so if you want to join me in this video discussion, then please do. And if you don't know by now, grab your drink of choice, whether it be tea, whether it be coffee, whether it be water. I am going healthy today and I am drinking water, and I love this bottle. And no, I'm not sponsored, but I will say I do love it because it actually reminds me to drink because I forget. So yeah, cheers. And some of you might like to add, and yeah, I'm missing my cherries and berries. They didn't have it on my order, so I'm a little bit upset by that. So my cherries and berries, I will be getting that hopefully soon. And thank you to those of you who have been messaging me saying, where do you get this from? Hopefully I can tell you where we do, and that is in Asda. But for those of you who do not know or do not live in the UK, people have found it in Walmart, but it's cherry cordial, so you dilute it with water. I think you call it cordial there. We call it squash over here, but you mix it with water. So a cherry one and a mixed berry one, you mix them together with a bit of water and you have your cherries and berries. So yeah, so grab that drink of choice, or if you want to add a little pep to something, because as I always say, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So let's grab that drink and dive right in. So, bubbles today. Let me just have a little bit of water, remind myself to drink. So I want to say thank you to the massive amount of support that I've had in regards to the last video I did in regards to the children. I did and ah whether to do this video because, as always, when you do things like this, you do get a little bit of backlash. Not as much as what I anticipated, I will be honest and say that. But I did. And it's the usual standard of, as a therapist, how can you be saying this stuff? And, because people forget that I'm a human being, and I actually, I do have my own thoughts and opinions outside of the work that I do. And sometimes, shocker, they do actually differ from the world of therapy. But yeah, so a couple of things that I want to talk about is that somebody said to me, why would the royal family be going along with this? Because a few of you, I'd probably say more often than not in the comments I've sort of seen, we don't think the royal family are complicit in this. Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, I don't believe they did know in the beginning. However, I feel to put a child in the line of succession, I don't believe they couldn't know the truth, because then that would mean that they've just accepted what Harry and Meghan have said with no proof whatsoever. But they also have eyes. If the public can see that Meghan wasn't pregnant, then I'm pretty sure they can. They've been in close proximity to her. We've only seen like video footage or photographs. They've actually been in close proximity. So to me, they must have seen the truth. So it's potentially then, maybe in the beginning they didn't know, but at some point I think they then potentially started to ask questions. And so then would it have been the truth has been revealed? They would have had to have known. Now, that is why I believe Megxit happened. I don't believe for 1 second, and I've spoken about this before, that they left because of racism, privacy, because at the end of the day, if this was about racism, they wouldn't have come back. They wouldn't have come for the Jubilee. They wouldn't have come for anything else. They literally would have been like, we want no association with this family due to the fact that they are racist. And they wouldn't have wanted titles for these alleged children. They wouldn't have wanted anything. They wouldn't have wanted any connection. And they probably would have been like, you know what, we don't even want to be Duke and Duchess anymore. We just don't want anything to do with this. And they would have left. But so we know that this wasn't the truth. It wasn't to do with racism. Now, media intrusion. Again, Harry picks and chooses when media intrusion is acceptable. So, for example, he doesn't want media intrusion into the part of their lives that exposes the truth. That is what I believe. I don't think he wants the media to find out the truth of anything that to do with Meghan or to do with him. So this is why he is trying to silence, in a way, the media. And then he decides to do these interviews, creating media intrusion. When you talk about taking the 25 lives connected to the Taliban, that's going to create media intrusion. When you call the family out on racism, that's going to create media intrusion. So Harry doesn't want to not have media intrusion. Neither does Meghan. She is a narcissist and she wants the celebrity lifestyle. She wants to be hounded, because if she didn't, then she wouldn't be setting up Backgrid. She wouldn't be calling people to be like, oh, we're here. Can you, pop across and take a photograph? You would be living a private life. So we know that's not true. And so to me, then what is the real reason why they left? Because as much as people have said, oh, she wanted to go to Hollywood. Yes, I believe she did. And I believe that has always been the goal, albeit that's not panned out. But I think that she still wanted to milk the royal family titles, which is why they wanted to milk Sussex Royal. But the Queen said no. So I don't believe that they just left because they wanted to leave in that moment. I think they wanted both. I think they wanted to be here, they wanted to be there, they wanted to jet set and go wherever they wanted to go. They wanted everything in their own terms. They were asked to leave. And I think she was asked to leave first. And that could also, like I've said, coincide with the fact that she was found rifling through the bedrooms or taking photographs. So it's possible that this plan was already in place for them to go, but she was asked to go first because she was possibly collecting evidence enough because she knew they were going. So they escorted her to the airport. This is allegedly, by the way, because obviously this is just things I've heard along the way, but it would also explain what we now have seen as narc revenge. Now, what this is when a narcissist has been called out on something, or something has changed their plans without their knowledge or without them being the ones that have changed plans. When someone has taken the wind out of their sails and done something, they do not like this. So what they will do is they will then enact narc revenge. And so this is why these two people have done everything possible to attack the royal family, attack Hollywood, because these are the ones that have exposed. So they've attacked the media, and the reason being is because in their eyes the media is part of the problem as to why they're not getting what they want. They are not getting the things that they want. So the media is part of the problem. So they then call out the media and accuse the media of being racist against her, even though there's not really any evidence of the media doing this. She then attacked the royal family. And so this is because I believe the royal family exposed the truth about them in the sense of we see you lying about A. So we want you out. And I think Harry had the choice to either go with her. I think she had no choice. I think she had to go. But Harry then had the choice to, you can either be half in, half out. You can stay, but she can't. So what I think then is, that's when we had the pap walk in Canada. I think that she was then like, I'm not having Harry getting a bit of everything. I'm not having that. So I'm going to do this pap walk where I'm literally going to wear a doll, because let's be honest, it was. And so and then I think the royal family would have seen this, because obviously we got then the media footage of it. And so they've panicked and kind of gone, Harry, you need to go and rein her in. And I think that was to get Harry from being in the UK to Canada to be with her, because we know she's deeply insecure and she would want Harry with her. So I think that this, so this is why I now think, and the reason I think she's also attacked Hollywood in her podcast is because Hollywood have closed their doors to her and basically said, you're not welcome. So then we have this thing where Oprah has not invited her to her 69th birthday party. And there's obviously been a lot of speculation around this. So again, looking at this from a narcissistic perspective, she would have been furious that she was not invited, because it's a huge statement, especially as Oprah it looked like was aligning with them. But it's interesting to me that since this backlash happened of the Oprah interview, Oprah then took down, I believe, the footage of the interview from her Twitter page, and hasn't really spoken much about it, apart from in a way trying to save herself and act like, oh, she was just as surprised as you know, as anyone when this kind of come out. I was not expecting this. So she's tried to do damage limitation on this Oprah interview. Now, whether or not you like Oprah or don't like Oprah, she is a businesswoman, and so she would absolutely now see that their brand has hurt her. So she's going to do whatever it takes to claw that back, and most of that is going to be by not associating with them. And if you don't associate and don't say anything after enough time, Hollywood in the end forget about it. So, and I think that's why she had quite a few people turn up to her party, and of course a big statement in the fact that Harry and Meghan were not invited. So of course then you have, which is very typical of Harry and Meghan, of the next kind of person who is in a way of a similar association to Oprah is Ellen DeGeneres. Now, I don't know the relationship between Ellen and Oprah, but it's interesting to me that Oprah obviously wasn't invited to this. So I wonder if there's they don't like each other. And that would also make sense, because what Meghan would do then is in a way kind of rub salt in the wounds, almost like, well, you know, you didn't invite me to your party, but I was invited to Ellen DeGeneres's and Portia's wedding renewal, vow renewal. But interesting as again also is, why were the photos released? I mean, again, these are very grainy photographs, really terrible, but is someone's privacy have they been leaked? Would they have been, because it was a very private ceremony, and the photos that were released were obviously the ones of Harry and Meghan, as if to say, we're going to expose the fact that we've been invited to this ceremony. So of course then, as much as you've had the fact that Oprah didn't invite them, and that has been a lot of media speculation, then of course then on the back of that is, oh, but hey, hang on a minute, we were invited to Ellen DeGeneres. So actually maybe there is support there, but people are not doing it publicly. No, what I would say is they've somehow orchestrated an invite to this, and I think Ellen is probably doesn't have as much support as what she did, and certainly not as much as Oprah. And like attracts like, because we all know that Ellen was accused of bullying, and of course what's Meghan been accused of? Bullying. And she's a bit of a pariah in the industry now because of what's happened. And of course you know, so is Meghan. So in a way, it's almost like they just aligned themselves with each other. But I think it has been purely and simply to say, just because we weren't invited to Oprah, we were invited to Ellen. So actually it's all good. But I genuinely don't believe that it is all good. I do think Hollywood has turned their back on these two. They are a laughing stock. But of course then it also then, because they would have been seeing, so where is Meghan? You know, Meghan is not with Harry. And then all of a sudden, whenever we have that, somehow they pop up together as if to say, we're still together, we're fine. And I've said to you before that I do not believe they are actually living together. I do not believe they are in anything other than a business relationship right now. And of course, we also now have the rumours that she is associating herself with a billionaire, because apparently people are speaking out about this and saying they are feeling very concerned. He is an older gentleman. Apparently he has mistresses. I'm not sure how true this is, but he apparently does. And apparently she has been seen with him in a hotel. And she's been, I think she's hired like a boardroom, and they have been having these private meetings. And again, I have to say allegedly, because obviously we don't know the actual truth. But I have said before in previous videos, because people have said to me, what will she do next after Harry? Now, when a narcissist discards, you go through the devalue phase, but you can go through the devalue phase for quite some time, and it can be a mixture of devalue, hoovering back in again, devalue, hoovering back in again, because what will be happening with Meghan right now is that she will be looking elsewhere, because she has gone as far as she can go with Harry, and she will know this. So she's milking, yes, she's milking the title still. However, she will also know that to go into the political arena, she will have to forego those titles. So this is when Harry will be discarded and the divorce will happen. But at the moment, she is going to be securing herself a plan B. So this would be, and I've said this before in previous videos, this would be someone with influence and someone with money. And a billionaire fits that description, because it would have to be somebody with more money than Harry. Now, we know that Harry doesn't actually have a huge amount of money. He has come from money and he's had money, but I reckon they've bled through that pretty quickly with all of the spending and everything else that they've done. So she is going to want to align herself with somebody that can take her to the next level. That is all she's ever done. You have got to remember, she is a narcissist and she is a grifter. So all the way along the timeline, she has maneuvered herself to the next notch on the ladder. So when you look at Thomas Markle, obviously he paid for the lifestyle that she had. She was going to the best schools. She got into working in the film industry, because obviously that was where he was. And then of course then along the way then she meets Trevor, who was a budding director, and so you know she kind of aligns herself in that area. She then, while she's with Trevor, she then gets into Suits, and she stays with him for the first season, and that's of course because she's not secure yet. As soon as she realizes she is secure and she's staying, suddenly it's bye Trevor. So then what she then does is then align herself with various people, sort of various boyfriends that are kind of then come from money and status. And then she then meets Corey, who is of course a celebrity chef, and then introduces her to the Maronis and Soho House and all of that. And then of course then the next alignment is then she wants a very rich British boyfriend, purely and simply because she wants to then align herself with the British film industry, because she thinks that Hollywood isn't interested in her, which they weren't. So of course then, as we know, she then sets up various meetings with people, and that's when obviously Harry then comes into her sights. And so I think then it was then set up, she orchestrated this meeting to meet Harry. So then she aligns herself into his vortex, his world, and then, as we know, the rest is history. So of course, following suit, it would make sense now that because Hollywood is no longer interested in her, so she's now got to have a plan B. And I've said this before, that she is egotistical enough to think that she can move into the political arena. Now, I don't think Meghan is actually particularly intelligent, but I think she is very calculated and manipulative, that she will believe that with the right people backing her, she could maneuver into this, like I say, the political arena. And to do that, she would need someone to back her. She would need money. So either she is going to set herself up with somebody else and become and get married to somebody else, or she is going to convince Harry that the best thing for them would be to forego their titles and for her to then move into the political arena. And is he silly enough to do it? Yeah, potentially. He would do that, especially if she would convince him that this would be the best option. But what I would think more than likely is that she will divorce him. And then she will be probably dating somebody behind the scenes for a while, because it would look very unfavorable to suddenly jump from Harry to somebody else very quickly and publicly. So, of course, that is what I think is potentially happening. She, in my opinion, is very, very angry at the fact that Hollywood have shut their doors to her. So she would want somebody that, which is why we've had the Netflix thing where she was going to produce Pearl, because if she's like, in her mind, it would be like, well, if Hollywood are not going to accept me, then I'll do my own thing. I'll become my own director and producer. But she's not talented enough. And unfortunately, she can't have anyone working above her or working with her, because she's too controlling. So this is why I think people jump ship and they don't want to be associated with them. So this is what I think is happening along the way for this. So people have said, there's no way that she's going to get into the White House. No, it's probable that she isn't. However, what you've got to remember is that Meghan has a huge, huge ego. So the fact is, she believes that she can. And if you've got the right people telling you that you could, that's going to feed her ego, then it's very possible that she will do everything possible to make that happen. And if people also think that she can be manipulated, they might use her to get in a way, and think that they could control her when she's in, which I think would be a huge mistake, because I think she's a very much a loose cannon. So this would be a huge mistake. Now, these are just, like I say, these are just my opinions, but I do believe in the beginning it was Hollywood. I think she wanted to be an A-lister. She wanted to be part of the Hollywood elite. But I think she's soon realising that Hollywood are not interested in her. She can't be trusted. Neither can Harry, especially given after the book The Spare, and them revealing all these things about celebrities in there, especially Courtney Cox. That's got to be pretty embarrassing. So they're only going to align themselves with anyone that just either doesn't particularly care, or anyone that still has an inkling of sympathy for them. Ellen DeGeneres probably, or anyone that actually they feel that they could use the fact they could use Harry or her. So I don't think that there's an influx of friends going on here with those. So this is why, like I say, I do believe that Megxit was to do with the truth in regards to A. Now, I think, like, when I've spoken about the blackmail, I don't think this is necessarily as in like a kind of a ransom demand of, I'm going to blackmail you. I don't think it's along those lines, but I think what it could be is that the royal family are scared of her. And as much as people might say, yes, but this is one of the most powerful, influential families. Yes, they are, but they're also a family. And if Harry, as loose lips sink ships, has said stuff to her, pillow talk, if she's recorded things, taken photographs, if there is a connection with Andrew, when obviously talking about previous things with Epstein, or like when people have said about the whole yachting thing, if there are connections there, she might know things that the royal family could have potentially felt that they've got to be very, very careful here. So this could be why, you know, when I've said about the huge payout, when people have said there's no way the royal family are going to pay her. Yes, they would if it stopped her from talking. If they were able to say to her, we will pay you X amount of money, but you have got to sign an ironclad, and this would be not just like an atypical NDA. I think this would be a exceptionally ironclad that you or anyone associated with you cannot talk anymore about to do with the royal family, then yes. Now, okay, there could be leaks, as we know, and yes, she could still say it to somebody else, but I think, again, if this person is associated with them, that is going to be proof enough that she is also, it can only have come from her. But also, her credibility is in the toilet. So is Harry's. So to be honest, even if they did come out with some things, unless they have got proof, which again would only come from her, which means then that she could get into serious trouble. So I do believe that the royal family have the means to shut things down. But I think, like she's said and she's alluded to, she hasn't signed anything as of yet. So that veil threat there, that tells the royal family, which is the only reason she said it, is to tell the royal family that she's got the potential to talk and reveal things. So this is going to make the royal family very mindful, and they don't want any more trouble. So I think that, yes, when this is happening, the divorce does happen, I absolutely do think that they will give her quite a substantial amount of money, because she will demand that. She will make demands. Like I say, I remind you, she is a narcissist. So if she thinks that this is what she can get, then she will absolutely get that. And she will then, I believe, with that huge amount of money and whatever else, whether it's whatever home they've got, I want to keep that, or I want to keep one of the alleged children, or whatever it is that she will demand, I think they will agree to it to shut her up, because they are not going to want this spilled out anymore. This is, you know, to me, the royal family have gone through a huge amount with the stuff with Andrew, and now all of this with Harry and Meghan. They are going to want to shut this down. So then we come to the coronation, and actually I know I spoke in the beginning a bit about Harry, but actually I might leave that actually to my other video, because this has gone on now for nearly 30 minutes. And of course the coronation. Now obviously people are up in arms about this, that they don't think Harry should come, and I would agree. I don't think he should come either. At the end of the day, this is not a family affair. As much as family will be invited, it's not. It's a state affair, and this is about the people, and the people for the most part do not want them here. So it's possible that they will bring Harry, and thank you for the people that have obviously told me that it's not that both dukes are not having to swear allegiance to the king. It is now just William, and it could be that because they're doing that, that might be the reason why Harry isn't coming. But also, let's remember that this is supposed to also be A's birthday. Now, was this a very tactical move? I don't know. I don't know whether the date, and people, maybe you can tell me in the comments, whether the date is preset for the coronation, as in like it's got to be this date, because it's interesting to me that also Archie, if that's the case, if this was always a preconceived date, then it's interesting that A was then born on this date. Just seems a bit strange to me. But also the fact that this is supposed to be A's birthday. So why would, especially given it's not a family thing, why would they want to be here anyway? So this could give them the get out clause needed. But then on the flip side of that, there is a part of me that thinks, is it better, like with the Jubilee, is it better that they are actually here? Because at least then in a way they can be controlled, and they are not over in the States kind of running around doing things to take away the limelight. Because obviously there has been the possibility that apparently Harry could be doing commentary on, which I just think is utterly ridiculous. Could I see that happening? Yes. But I think, again, that's not something that she would like, because, again, being a narcissist, she would want to be involved in this. So if this has been offered to Harry, this is going to annoy her if this is true, because she's going to be like, well, what about me? So she will be fast realizing that actually, even though Harry is a laughing stock, that it's still really him that holds the interest, because he is by blood a royal prince. No one really cares about her. And that shows, because when we had the Netflix mockuseries, even though people are saying, well, that got to #1 or #2 or whatever it was, but as soon as that other one come out that they were attached to, allegedly, because when you had the advert for it, they were speaking about the women leaders, that didn't even appear anywhere in the top of Netflix. So that shows you that really the only reason that Harry's book has done well in to some degree, or that mockuseries did well, is because people want to hear the gossip about the royal family. So that really is their only selling point. It is nothing to do with them, because whenever they go out and do something singularly, as in like what Meghan did with the podcasts, no one was really interested. Her first one did relatively well, due to the fact that I believe it's also because you've got the fact that the fandom of the person she's interviewing is part of that, but also because of the fact that people, again, were wanting to hear if she says anything about the royal family. So these two are not, no one's interested in them in any other capacity. And even that is getting tiring. People are bored of it now. So do I think that Harry doing this commentary could happen? Potentially. Do I think it should? No. I think, but again, people don't seem to read the room and care, and it's going to possibly put people off. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on the coronation? I mean, I'm guessing most of you are probably going to say that they don't think he should be here. And I would be in agreement with that. However, like I say, I think that leaving them to their own devices over there where they could take away from the coronation, personally, I think we should have a media blackout on them. I think we should, for the coronation, respect the king. This is a huge thing for our country. And I think we should have a media blackout on anything to do with Harry and Meghan, out of respect. This family have been through a huge ordeal, not just as the monarchy, but just as a family in general. They have been for 2 years accused of racism, only to now have Harry go, oh, we didn't say that. Well, yeah, you didn't. Thank you for the people that have also shown me the footage where she actually did accuse them of racism. And like I've said, collect an award. So yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments. And like I say, thank you so much for the support and everything that you've done to really help lift this channel, and it's growing, and I love that, and I love you guys all joining, and the comments for the most part are very respectful, and that's exactly what I want here. So if you've enjoyed this particular video, please give this a thumbs up. Thank you to the members who have also given me some suggestions on what to talk about. I know that some of you have said the Alec Baldwin is it Hilaria Baldwin situation. So yeah, so I will be looking into that. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel and you would not like to miss a future upload, then please think about subscribing. It'd be lovely to have you here. Thank you to everybody who is also going across and supporting my son. The link is in below, so if you want to go across and support him, I'm trying to get him to his first 1,000 subscribers on his very new channel, so please go across and support him there. If there's anything else that you might be interested in, please look below, because everything is there where you can join me on various other platforms. What else? If you want to email me, that is also below. For the people that still email me saying, where can I send you things? I don't give out my personal address, but there is a PO box which is below. And you can also, there's my bubble merchandise, which is below. Everything is below, so you can go across and check that out. So yeah, so I will see you in my next video. So again, I hope you've had a wonderful weekend, and just thank you for being amazing as always. And like I always say, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care, bubble family.